What's up everyone, welcome back. In today's video we are going to be talking about what are the issues that we have with our concrete pots. Now of course I have been making concrete pots since 2016-17. Of course initially I had no idea how to make them. There was a lot of trial and error. I did break a lot of pots. At times they used to not come out of the mold, or even if they came out of the mold they used to crack after a month or so. And over the period of time, after learning, I was able to make a proper pot that did last for a very long time. Like this particular pot, you can see this is almost 6 or maybe 7 years old. I'm not very sure. These were one of the initial pots that I started to make. If you might have been following my channel, you might have seen these pots quite often because I really love the measurements of this pot. It is perfect for a single succulent, or you can even make a small little arrangement in this pot. The width of this pot is 8 centimeter and the depth is also 8 centimeter. So it was a perfect pot that I found for my succulents. Now you can see even after so many years, there isn't a single crack or there isn't any fracture on the pot. You can see it's in a perfect condition because it was a mix of grey cement, sand and water. You need to have sand in order to make concrete. You cannot make concrete pots just with cement and water. It is not going to be strong. You need to have an aggregate that could be sand or anything, but there has to be a third material when you are making concrete. Now being said that, as I've always mentioned, use grey cement because I have felt that grey cement is very, very strong. It tends to work out really well. So these pots, I have never made white cement pots of this size. It's always been grey cement. I don't know for what reason, but I think I always prefer to have grey cement. So I'm going to show you an example of white cement. So this is pure white cement, sand and water. And you can see there is a lot of cracks on these, as you can see. So this is why I feel even though the white cement pots, they look absolutely stunning, they look very, very beautiful, they almost look like marble, but within couple of months they start to have these small little cracks, as you can see. Now I'm not very sure, probably it's because white cement is not as strong as grey cement. That's the reason why it starts to crack, because always remember, concrete will expand when it is heated and it will contract when it is cold. So basically there is a little bit of expanding and contraction in concrete. So probably the white cement cannot handle that and it starts to crack when it gets expanded. Expanded as in because we tend to keep our pots in sunlight, so probably because of the heat the white cement has a higher tendency of expanding and hence it starts getting cracked, because during daytime there is a lot of sunlight, the concrete will expand, the white cement will expand, and when it gets night, it gets cooler, it will start to contract. So because of this entire process there could be cracks on these. And over here you will be able to see this looks like it is white cement. The same thing goes with this one. It looks like it is white cement, but in this pot I have used 2 parts of grey cement and 1 part of white cement. So there was a good amount of grey cement in this, and you can see this one has not cracked. This is also almost I think I had made it in the month of October. So you can see it is still very good. There are no cracks. It is also kept in morning sunlight. Same thing goes with this one. I think in this one I put more of the grey cement and very little of white cement. So with these, what I did is I let them set for 48 hours or maybe 72 hours. Let's say I think 72 hours I let them set in. After 72 hours, I unmolded them from the mold and then I put them in water for almost a week. And after a week, I took them out and then I planted the succulents in it. So these have been very, very strong. It has worked out really well. So probably I'll have to increase the amount of grey cement, because with only grey cement, they are going to look like this. This is like a proper concrete pot. So there is going to be a lot of difference in the color, because this is 2 parts of grey cement, 1 part of white cement and then sand. So you can see there's a difference in the color. Even this one is a little bit different in color. and plus it ages. And always remember guys, whenever a concrete pot ages, like this one is also almost I think 6 years old, so as and when the concrete pots start to age, they become even more stronger. You can see this, they will be even more stronger as they age. It's not that as they age they are going to get weak and they will start to crack. They become even more stronger because they have been out in sun, they have been out in rain, so they become even more stronger, and that's why I prefer concrete pots more. Here is another example. This is also completely made out of white cement, and you can see a lot of cracks on them. I will also show you how you can repair these fine fractures on the pot, but of course it is going to spoil the look of the pot. This can be achieved with the help of grout. I will show you how to prepare grout. So this is how the white cement, that's why I try to avoid white cement as much as I can, but at times you feel like you want to have a new look on your pot, so that's why we tend to use, because when you have a white concrete pot you don't need to paint it again. It looks absolutely stunning. If you want to paint your gray pot, of course you can paint it white, but this is like simple, like you just pour in and you get a pot, then you don't need to color it. So that's why white pots are very popular, but then this is the main issue. Over the period of time it gets a lot of cracks, as you can see. Now these cracks will not damage the pot of course, but if the cracks look like this, then there is a high chance that it will break. If I'm going to knock this pot, I don't know if you can hear that. This is a sound that the pot is cracked. Now how to make grout? Grout is basically the grey cement and water. We don't need to add any sand in this. We have to make a paste out of it. So here I'm using grey cement and I'm adding in a little bit of water. You can use white cement, but I would say it's better to use grey cement. Now again, remember guys, when you're using this, it is going to spoil the original look of your pot. We can't do much with it. Now once you have added in water, this is how it should look like. Now this is still quite watery. It has to be more like a paste. So once your grout is ready, you can take your mix and start applying it on the cracks. Now it's always better to use gloves. I couldn't find my gloves, but I would advise please use gloves when you're working with cement. Now all you have to do is just start filling in the cracks. Now always ensure that you moisten the pot. Here the pot was dry and hence the grout is drying up much faster. So it will be advisable to moisten the pot. Now after you have applied the grout, now just start pressing against those cracks. As I mentioned, ensure that you are wearing gloves. Now you can start applying. So the basic idea over here is to fill in those cracks with the grout. And you have to just leave it in indirect light. Do not again put it out in direct sunlight, because we have to let the grout cure, and that is only possible if it is kept in a shaded area or in less light. We want the grout to cure slow. So you can start filling in all the cracks, and as I mentioned, it is going to take some time, and also it is going to spoil the original look of the pot. It all depends upon you. So if you're not going to do this, of course the cracks are going to stay on the pot. So this is the last option that we can do, and that is cover it up. And you'll have to do it inside as well as outside, because the cracks are going to be present inside as well. So this is how it's going to look like once you fill in the cracks. Now of course there will be these crack marks that are still going to be present on the pot. What you can do is you can paint it off with some darker color or darker shade of color. Acrylic paints are going to work out fantastic, so that you can camouflage those cracks. So in order for your pots not to crack, I would say the best thing is prevention, and that is let your concrete set in the mold for 72 hours, after which you demold the concrete, put them in water, set them in water for almost a week. And then you can use them for your planters. If you follow this step, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue, because here you can see this is a perfect example. 6-7 years and the pot is in a very good shape, not a single crack, and of course the use of grey cement. So that's it for today guys. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.